Vince Miller from the Educational Technology Center, and I think everybody probably knows each other, but if you don't, Saul Epstein and Marzia Karsh, also from the Ed Tech Center. And we're going to talk about the WordPress blogs today. The original beginning of this project was the old sites that we have out there on staff.jccc.edu, which some of you have those sites. And we thought we needed to have a new platform to migrate. Come on in. Hello, come on in. We wanted a new platform to migrate those old sites to, because there is a need for faculty and others to have a presence, an external web presence that they can control for maybe presenting materials to prospective students and some other purposes that are a little bit more informal than some of the things that are happening on an official departmental site. And so we decided to use the WordPress tool, which is widely used. A lot of people know how to use it already because they've maybe got a blog out at WordPress.com, and it's all web-based, so we don't have to worry about installing an application the way we did with the old staff site where people were using front page. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just turn this over to Saul and Marzia and let them walk you through kind of the logistics of building a blog, how to do posts, how to include other users in your blog if you want to let people be editors along with you. And I know that some of you in here already have blogs, so Steve, I know you do. Does anybody else already have one on the WordPress? The three of you do. So do you two think you're going to want one? And if so, just send me an email afterwards and we can create one for you. And you can decide, you know, that way whether to use it, or if you want to just test with it for a while and see what it's like, you can do that. So, you guys ready? Sure. Great. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, and he already went over that again, but for the benefit of the TV audience, if you need to have a blog and you are staff or faculty at JCCC, then just send us an email and we can set up a blog for you. I wanted to go over a couple of example blogs so you can see the sorts of things that you can do with those blogs. This is our EdTech blog, which is a great resource. You should go visit it. Which we've been contributing to. Yes, yes. You know, and hey, if everybody visits our blog, we don't have to send you as many emails. Wouldn't that be nice? So we've got tips and tricks, you know, education technology. Let's see. This is a sustainabilities blog. You'll see they've got a much different look and feel on their blog. They've got, in addition to just postings, which you think of as blogs being a series of postings, they've got pages, which are up here on that navigation. Those are actually pages, which are permanent pieces of content that you can get to by navigation. You also see that they've got this folding menu that comes down there, which is a little bit technical, but basically what that means is that they have some pages that are parent pages and some that are child pages that go under it, sort of, you know, a menuing system that way. Back to the main blogs again. So here's an example of a personal blog. That's Paul DeSalle's blog. And you see that he's also chosen a different look and feel for his blog. He's got pages of content. He's got posts on there. He's posted photographs. You know, there's a lot of opportunity to do that. And the reason we went with WordPress, you know, another reason we went with WordPress as opposed to the front page server that we had before is because you don't need any special tools to edit these pages. You know, all you need is a web browser. It helps if it's a compliant and current web browser. I'm going to go ahead and log in just to show you what goes on behind the scenes. This is obviously not my regular account. Your regular account is going to be your email username. And it's going to use the same password as your email password. We've got a plugin that ties the two together.
That means we don't have to set it for you, and we can't change it for you.
Right.
But you don't have to change it here ever separately from elsewhere. It's tied in.
Does that mean we currently can get in? We
No.
don't need to.
You know,
There's nothing yet for you to get into.
yeah, if you
unless
don't
set
have a
up.
blog, we have to set you up as a user, but once you're set up as a user, then it's just going to use your email, username, and password, which we don't know. We don't have to know. We just have to know what your email username is, and then it does the rest. See, I knew it would do that. It's got a little error that it's out of date, but it should work okay. This is the behind the scenes, the dashboard area. When you log in, you'll also find that you have this top bar here, and it's on every single page when you're logged in. It's important because that allows you to do most of the same things that you do in the dashboard, only it's got a handy bar that drops down to get there. I showed you the difference between posts and pages. Posts are piled up on the main blog site, and pages are the separate navigation pages. When you add a new one, the process is going to be the same, whether it's a page or post. So I'm going to go ahead and add a post. And just click on the Add New. And what you'll see over here is pretty easy editor that's actually editing in HTML, but it looks like a standard WordPress is their kind of thing. It's called the WYSIWYG, for what you see is what you get. If you're comfortable with HTML, there's also a tab to let you just put in HTML tags just like it is. I am a very boring poster. There we go. We got something formatted. And I just highlighted it and clicked on the button to correspond to that. Now, if you find that you only have one row of options, there's the button that doesn't look like it does anything, which is the kitchen sink button, and it gives you more options. Now, over here on the publish area, it gets kind of confusing because you've got 3 buttons. Well, the big blue one, publish, it's obvious that goes to publish. You've got a save draft button. That's in case you're making a long poster page and it's not quite ready for public viewing, but you want to make sure that it's saved. So, like say you start in the office and you want to finish on your home computer, save that draft. Or it's just a good habit, as you're posting, to just save a draft as you go so that it's not lost. And then you can retrieve that draft whenever you want to. Preview is if you want to see how that's going to look before you finalize it. So then, there it goes. I can preview that, and then I can publish. And as soon as I publish it, it doesn't quite look like it does anything, but you'll see up here it's got a little thing that says post publish, view post, so I could go directly there and see what I did. I've got an update button, and it's still showing my post. And the reason why is because a lot of times if you're posting something, you might realize, oh, wait a minute, I forgot to add that one thing. And so there you are, you can do it right then and there. Or if you have a long post and you've got half of it done, you want to finish the other half of it, you don't actually have to save a draft if it's okay what you have so far. You can just go and update it later.
And depending on how you wind up logging, that may just be sort of a standard feature of how you do it. If your posts tend to be sort of informal, it may be expected that they'll sort of grow over time without. So blogs aren't necessarily expected to be finished, to polished pieces of work. That's sort of part of the whole point, is that you can just get things out as they come up.
Yeah, although if you go by standard blogging conventions, if you make a mistake while you're typing something, like say you find out some facts are in error and you've updated it later, the blogging convention is, rather than completely erasing what was a mistake and writing it again, is you use a strike through that you cross it out. Let me see where the strike-through tag is. There it is, okay. So you cross it out. Oh, it's still crossed out.
Turn off the.
There we go. And then you update whatever the mistake was. And people, when they read blogs, they know that just means that, this is the updated information in case they read it earlier and then they're not, wait a minute, I could have sworn it said this other thing.
Yeah, which also depends on how seriously you want to be taken as more of a journalistic blogger or more of a casual blogger.
So then I hit the update button, and there it is. And you see, instead of saying that the post was pre-published, it says the post was updated up there.
And that yellow bar, that's a standard across. If you do different things in WordPress at different times, that's its subtle way of saying, I'm done, something's actually happened. Because often, most of the interface will just sit. And if you miss the little yellow bar across the top, you'll think maybe nothing happened. But that's its way of saying, I'm done, ready to go.
Now, if I go back to the dashboard, I click right up there, back to the dashboard, you might also notice that there's a quick press. The difference between the quick press and the regular posting is that you don't get the formatting. So if you've got something quick that doesn't need any sort of formatting, you can just put it in there, and there's your saved draft and publish. When I click on posts, I can see all the posts that I've made. This is important because your blog is pre-populated with a post from one of us, whoever set up your blog, saying, hello world, and then a pre-populated comment and a pre-populated page. You can delete all of those. Please do.
They have our names on them, but they're not actually.
They're not actually us. We didn't do that on purpose. It just happens when you make it. Yeah. So, if you hover over it, you have your options for editing, just like an angel. And trash. That's a great option. There, it's gone. So when you open up your blog and you see your Hello World post from me, then just trash it and make your own posts. The same goes for pages. So there's the sample page that's automatically there. I can go ahead and trash that. And I'm going to add a new page. And publish it, just the same as doing the posts are. Pages work the same way. The only difference is that the pages are going to be posted as navigation and permanent by themselves, posts. Over here, you'll see that the page attributes, oh, wait a minute. I think I have to have more than one page so that I can have it you can nest them under parent pages so that you have menus that go down. But it's not available because I only have one page. That was my fault. Another thing that you will probably want to do, well, maybe you do or you don't, and that's change your appearance. I'm doing this real quick so that I've got it back to the default. I'm going to go to my site. There we go. So here's my site with my posts. You see, this is the default theme that we put there. It's just something to get you started. You're not obligated to keep it. You can keep it if you like it. It's designed to kind of blend in with the regular, the main site. You'll see there's the page that I made. So if I click on it, it's just a page by itself. And you see there's that gray bar that I said that your dashboard bar is right above there. Something also interesting that we've pre-installed a plugin that allows you to see stats for your blog, so you can see how many visitors you've actually had. See if it works. Oh, there you go, see? Isn't that nice? I can see how many people visited. I suspect that some of those people were actually, you know, bots, but. Now back to themes and changing your appearance. You're going to go to the appearance menu and then to themes. So appearance themes. Your current theme is shown up there, and you have all of these options that we've installed to change that. Don't be fooled by the thumbnail. A lot of these have options beyond what they're showing in the preview. That's just a default preview. So a lot of them allow you to customize the picture. For instance, you are not stuck with a camel. If you have a picture of something more interesting, you can use that. And show you. If I can type. Okay, so this uses the exact same theme as the one with the camel. Let me hide that one. Okay, the exact same theme, only changed the banner and the background. So camel is not.
Yeah, the name of that theme is Adventure Journal, and sort of to go along with that, they pre-populated it with photographs of travel in different places. So that's the camel and some of the others. But yeah, if you put in your picture, it makes it your theme.
So there's news magazine is another one. Suffusion is another one that I've used before. It's got a lot of options on there. So I'll go ahead and activate that one. Don't panic. How you modify a theme will depend on the theme and how it was programmed. So Suffusion is a little bit interesting because it has all bunches of options, and they're all within there. So let's see. Yeah, I can, you know, yeah, within that same, let me pick that one. I'll hit save. It's got a lot of very confusing menus, but okay. Let's see. So it should be saved, I would think. There it goes, okay. So even though that thumbnail showed a somewhat gray looking, where'd it go?
It's at the top.
It's at the top? Oh, because it's active, yeah. But yeah, even though the thumbnail shows a very gray, boring theme, it's not gray and boring. I had a lot of options there that I could just change around.
And that demonstrates that, for the most part, you can switch themes without, it'll never damage your underlying content.
Yes.
Your posts and
That's
your
another
pages and your
important.
links. Because those are, to an extent, in a database elsewhere, and the theme is just being laid on top and used to arrange the content on the page every time somebody looks at it.
Oh, the widgets are there now.
Right.
That was the last training session we had. I added widgets and they didn't show up because that theme apparently did not support them very well. But they're still there. And my posts haven't changed. You know, none of the underlying content has changed. Which I suppose is a good time to branch into widgets. Widgets are little side items that provide extra content. Either they're based on either something that's going on within your blog, like the posts by date, or something that can be external, like Twitter posts that you've made elsewhere. And you have a lot of widget options here. You don't have to use any of them. If you do want to use one, and I realize this looks very intimidating when you see all of the places that those could possibly go. It's going to depend on your theme. Some themes have more options for where widgets can go than others. And for some themes, where those widgets are exactly depends. So experiment, play, look at it, see how it looks, and you can always undo it if it's something you don't like. You just drag them on or off in order to make them show up. So this one's a flicker widget, and as soon as I drag it on, it opens up with the options. Let me see if it works. We'll do 3 pictures.
Widgets give you almost no feedback.
Yeah, I know. See, I mean, like I can see like down at the bottom there's like a little twirly thing saying that it's saved, but it's not.
While it's happening, and then you look back.
Yeah, exactly. So I can close that with a little arrow thing, and if I yeah, well, at the time nothing was showing up, so I can change my settings there. This one asked me, what the name of my Twitter feed was. So now if I refresh my blog again, should have widgets in the side. We'll see if the flicker shows up. No, it doesn't. Oh well.
It showed up. The pictures did.
Just yeah, it showed up, but the pictures did too, so. Yeah, I'll probably have to play with that more to get it to show up. But the tweets are showing up.
Are the available widgets that you have dependent on the theme you choose, or are they independent?
Yes. Mixture of both.
Okay.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, there's some that are pretty much always going to be there because they're sort of base WordPress widgets, like the links widget, the categories widget.
The arbitrary text widget.
The arbitrary text widget, yes. But there are others that will only be available if you have a theme that supports them. And the overall collection is limited outside of your ability to adjust directly. But if there's a crying need that enough people bring to our attention, we're open to trying to find or install a widget that's needed.
Yeah. We have to balance the needs of the many with the needs of the few when it comes to widgets and plugins and other things, because a poorly, and themes, a poorly written component can bring the entire system down. But we're not trying to stifle everybody, so if there is a need, just talk to us about it and we can see what we can do.
Are a lot of the widgets that are on Angel also available on here? Or well,
No, they're different systems, but if you have a functionality you need that you're finding on Angel, then talk to us and we'll see.
Okay.
But that does bring up a good point, which is the difference between this and Angel and InfoShare. InfoShare, our SharePoint site, is for things that you need to share between other faculty members and not the public. Angel is for things that you need to share among students and not the public. This is for things that you want to share with the public. The posts you make here are visible to everyone. You'll also see that comments are open. People can comment on it.
So are they not supporting the front page websites that we had before? Or have they taken all of them? I mean, I know mine's still up.
Yeah,
take it down.
We have no immediate plans to get rid of those, but Microsoft doesn't support front page
Right.
servers anymore. And we don't have anyone with the expertise to really manage that. So eventually that's going to have to go away. We don't have any immediate plans, but it's a really good time to think about your migration plan.
Pull it over it.
Right. And if something happens to the server, I can't say that we're necessarily going to be able to recover from it because we just don't have the expertise to do that at this point.
So if we wanted to pull all our content from there and put it into this, we can just let you know and then you can shut down that site? Or if
Yeah,
the site
yeah,
was-
yeah,
okay.
yeah. And unfortunately, the migration path, which is another good point, from front page to WordPress is mostly copy and paste.
Yeah.
From other blogging platforms, you can just import and export entire blogs across.
Yeah, if you've got a Blogger blog, like Greg Dixon moved his Blogger site, and it was a fairly painless process. Or if you're using WordPress.com or you're using some other blogging platform, there's 99.9% chance that there will be some way that we can export your content and get it in. One thing that would be very helpful if you are copying and pasting is there's the paste from Word button to remove all of the funky Microsoft formatting. And another thing to keep in mind as you migrate front page is that you're going to need to download your pictures and then re-upload them because those pictures are hosted on the front page server. And whenever that server eventually goes down, you're going to have a broken picture link if you've just linked to it, or if you've copy and pasted everything, including the link.
You say the front page server, is that the staff.jccc?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, there's also, next to the paste from Word is the paste plain text, which will be really useful regardless from where you're copying from. If you paste it into the WordPress editor and funky things happen to it, either in the WordPress editor itself or when you publish the page of the post and then go look at it, and if it's something of any significant size and enough detail, it would be a pain to go in and fix all of the little problems. You can use this tool to just paste the text. So it saves you the steps of pasting in the notepad, for instance, and then copying from there and pasting again. You'll lose all of the bold and the italic and whatnot, but at least you won't have to go in and adjust weird tabs that you can't even see.
And speaking of posting pictures, I should probably show you how to do that because it's not immediately intuitive, I don't think. As you are posting something, right next to the top there where it says Upload Insert, there's a little tiny picture that's supposed to be of a picture. And if you click on that, then media files means pictures. So you can browse it if you've got it stored on your computer. If you've got a URL, for instance, you've got a picture in your Flickr feed, or your Picasa web album, then just paste that in. The media library, I believe, is something that you've already uploaded. So if you want to reuse a picture you've already uploaded. And right next to it, we've got a little audio button if you have an audio file you want to add. We don't have a video button because videos are very large, and if it's a video that's public, it should be on YouTube. Put it on a YouTube channel and then insert it that way. That way we're using YouTube's bandwidth and not ours, and YouTube's file space and not ours. And if you need any help doing any of that, then don't hesitate to call us. We can walk you through that. Forgetting more things, or links.
All right.
Here we go. Yes, I'm sure I want to navigate. Okay. Links. If you notice, a lot of blogs have things like blog rolls or lists of resources. The place to store those in WordPress is the links area. So if you add a new link, and let's go with the link is already there, but that's okay. So we've got the name. The name is what will appear in your list link. The web address is the URL that specifically goes there. The description is what appears when you hover over it. So when you hover over the link. Now you can go through targets and other things, but for the most part, that's all you need. You can have categories of links. I'm going to go back to our main blog site just to show you how that looks. So we have a blog role here which has organization blogs on JCCC. We have employee blogs, which is a separate category. We all add them all in with the same link tool, but we just tag them as a separate category. And then we have resources, which go to different support things for WordPress. Oops. So all I had to do was tag it with the category. And you can add new categories if you find that blog role isn't sufficient, that you have a lot of different types of links. You know, the rest of that you can mess with if you want to, but I find that it's kind of not helpful. You know, I've never used that. So then I'll go ahead and add that link. And you'll notice that it's not showing up on my site because the blog role is actually a widget. So if I want those links to show up, I need to go to Appearance, Widgets, and then see right there the links. Add that on. I'm going to drag it in. It's got some options there. So there's my links.
And just like each new site that we create starts with a sample post, a sample page, a sample comment, it also starts with about 7 links in a blog role category, which means that they're already there for you. If those aren't links that you're interested in having, you'll have to go in and take those out too. And you're not
You're not obligated to
delete
send
them
them.
yourself. Yeah. You're not obligated to keep even the blog role category itself. You may not, and that may not be a term that is appealing to you, in which case come up with your own category.
Yeah. You know, you might want to, instead of blog role, you're like, well, these aren't blogs, these are websites, so I'm going to call them, you know, resources or websites or
links.
Or links, yes, yes. And you notice that there was the option to make comments on there. Anyone can make a comment. We've set it up by default that comments do not appear for the first time a commenter makes a comment. So if you have a new person making a comment on your blog, it's going to be invisible at first to avoid having spam bots come in and go crazy with your posting there. Yeah, I don't have access to that. I'm going to have to log out if I'm going to show you one that has comments on it. There, I have no comments here. But if I had comments, it would show me the comments and whether or not they've been posted. And I can put a checkbox next to them. Oh, I guess I have one comment because that's the default comment. And the actions are to approve them or unapprove them. If they've been approved and you realized it was a mistake, I can mark them as spam or I can move them as a trash. I recommend marking them as spam first and then moving them in the trash so that you train spam detecting agents to get smarter.
If it's spam.
Yeah, if it's spam.
If it's just objectionable.
Yeah, if it's just objectionable, then just trash it, yeah. Most of the spam that I've seen has been like, you have a great site, I want more info. Which seems like, yeah, but it's a very generic comment. and it doesn't actually relate to any of the content on there.
Sometimes it'll appear 3 in a row.
Yeah, 3 in a row with exactly the same phrasing, and yeah.
Generic.
You have to link to their site, wanting you to go and mess up your site.
But not always. Sometimes they have no
Yeah.
links at all.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just-
sometimes it's very odd, and you're like, well, why? Why did you post this
Maybe
at all?
they're trying to get an approved one so that then they.
Right, right. Yeah, so that they have a network
you
of
buy it.
approved comments, or that they're just testing to see where they can comment and where they can't. Let me see. Settings. If you go to the Settings tab from the dashboard, one of the things that you might want to change is by default it's populated under the tagline is just another JCCC blogging site. You can change that to whatever you want. You can delete it completely so it doesn't show up. It's up to you.
And your site title will be your name, usually as you show up in the college directory. So if you want to be Bill instead of William, that's a place to go in to change that.
And you see that I forgot to set my time zone. So, yeah. So if I want to make it look like, you know, I'm
It's not
posting
gonna
at 5 in the
home on your
morning.
site.
Yeah, I think I should be like in
You
bed.
should just all go home.
Yeah. So I can pick, you know, if I happen to know what the time zone is and UTC minus blah, 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 I can do that or pick a city. Where'd America go? America, yeah. So I usually pick Chicago. There we go. And then it'll be the correct time zone.
The other thing, your site title doesn't have to be your name. If, you know, your blog is a lot about the classes that you teach, and they have something to do with each other, like they're all English classes, you could put something that expressed
Yeah.
that, you know, as the site title.
So, yeah, he did a tagline, changed
Right,
that.
that's the other option, is you could have, you put your name in the site title, but then something descriptive in the tagline, or.
So there's, he changed both the name and the tagline.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's Greg's.
So it doesn't affect, you can see his post still says by Greg Dixon. It
Yeah.
doesn't affect your name, it affects the name of the blog, essentially. And those don't have to be the same.
So we've got about 20 minutes left. Do we have questions? Glaring info I left out?
For the writing, reading, and discussion, is that just a way to add those two?
So it's in the settings, so,
So it's just letting it set how big a space they have and.
yeah,
what
so they
can
have
put.
20 and what the default post category is. I suppose that's something to talk about, is that you can assign posts both categories and tags. That's helpful if you're trying to organize information, if you think you're going to have a lot of it on specific categories, you want people to be able to go back through it, and then you can have a widget with a category listing and they can navigate that way. Let's see.
And the post categories and link categories are separate lists. So you could make them match or not. Or you can make them overlap or not.
So the reading is more about, you know, there's a little bit up at the top that talks about how it appears in your blog, but a lot of this talks about how feeds appear. If you have people that are reading using a feed reader like Google Reader, then that shows whether or not they read the full text or just a summary. Personally, I leave mine at full text because I find really annoying to try and go through feeds that only have the summary. You know, and if you're not advertising on your site, then there's really no point in hiding it away. So, discussion settings. If you wanted to remove the ability to comment, you can do that.
Okay, question. So can you remove the ability to comment on single pages?
As far as I can tell, no. I think we tried to find that.
I have been looking, yes.
It's all or nothing.
Well,
Yeah,
and
it seems to be.
What I've been looking for specifically actually is a way to have the form itself not show up. And so far.
See, yeah, I would like the option to have a post that has no comments and a post that does, or, you know,
Exactly.
would seem
If you
very
did a
standard,
page,
but
they would comment on a page, right?
we may have to look
No,
for a
they
plugin or
comment-
something that
comment.
allows that, but,
You can comment on pages.
Oh.
yeah, you can comment on pages and,
Unfortunately, you can't turn that off, just for that.
yeah. But we may look at a plugin to see if we can get that functionality in.
Yeah. We'll look for something, because that cuts it pretty.
Yeah,
You could
yeah,
go in
we
and
think
you
that would
could
be,
delete those people's.
Yes.
yeah, you can
Hide
delete the
their-
comments.
Yeah,
Hide
you
their
always have
comments.
complete control over
So,
which comments show
yeah.
up. It just, it would be nice if you had something that you weren't interested in having comments at all, or even giving anybody the impression that they could comment, it would be nice to just turn it off.
Yeah, and you can make an announcement of, you know,
Don't
something
let
of
them
important,
comment, yeah.
exactly,
Don't let them
exactly, that
comment
is
on
not
this
up for
different-
discussion, then, you know. You know.
This is when this paper's due, no matter what, I don't care what you say.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
Let's see.
But this is where, I mean, we explained how what's allowed with comments are configured automatically, but this is where you would go to change if, you know, if you're feeling brave and you want to let, you know, if you're feeling brave and you pay a lot of attention, and so you just basically want to allow anything to show up, you could set it to do that. There's automatically close comments on articles older than, so that would,
That would go
But that would
away,
still
yeah.
work on all of them.
yes.
But then that would also mean, though, that you wouldn't have to fish through comments for old. And that would cut down a lot of spam, because frankly, people don't tend to be commenting on really old blog posts, unless they're bots.
Right.
Ha, there we go, hold a comment into the queue if it contains 2 or more links. Or you can add automatically to the moderation queue if it contains a list of words that you filtered out there that I think we could probably use your imagination and figure out some of those words. Or you could just have it marked automatically as spam. So we've also got avatars if you're get deep into it. I think for the most part, most people don't really care, but if you were curious about the little gray outline, you can change that. Or just remove it and have it not show. You can also have default ones that populate it so that you don't have Mystery Man as Identicon is pretty common there. So let's see. Refresh this. So there. So that's generated by the system so that I'm not stuck with. Master one. Any more questions?
It's a jetpack.
Oh, the jetpack?
Gives us the-
Yeah, that's a plugin
Oh,
we've
okay.
added, that gives statistics and, right, it supplies the Twitter widget.
Okay.
And a latex widget.
Yes. It's It's funny because every session there's always one person that's like, ooh, latex.
Yeah, and everybody else says.
Well, what, huh?
So from the users thing, can you find out who all is logged in different days and that kind of thing too? Where it says users?
You can find out about who the users are on your blog. Although that's
It's only
really
given the
something
name
more
and the
for
email
like
that they-
group blogs.
Yeah.
That's who has the ability to edit and post to them.
Yeah.
So, you know, this one has 2 administrators, both of which are me.
And people that leave comments aren't users.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah.
don't have any special rights.
So the comments you just see under the
And then
comments.
you see them there, okay.
Yeah. So, any more questions?
Should we want to set it up, we send an email to where?
Just, yeah, ed tech, any, yeah.
And we will set it up, and if we can work with you to move material from the staff server, we will do that. One thing, I don't think we talked about the special paste from buttons, but it's worth noting that you don't have to, if the stuff goes over smoothly, you don't have to do any special tricks to do it. It would be tedious if you have a lot of different pages with a lot of copy and pasting. But generally speaking, if you copy either from a browser window or from front page of one of its successor clients in the WYSIWYG view, so you don't have to go in and look at the HTML at the origin, and you paste it into the WordPress editor, you can also do that in the WYSIWYG view. And most of the time, it does a very graceful job of just taking the material in, preserving most of the formatting, and a little bit of cleanup sometimes and you're done. At both ends, obviously, you have an HTML view, you can go in and tweak that way if you need to, but most of the time, you won't have to.
Yeah, most of the time HTML to HTML looks great, except for the pictures.
Right.
Which you have to
Pictures are
download
active.
and then upload. It may look like it works great, but no, don't do it that way. Download, upload.
Yes.
And you have to treat PDFs as pictures, is that, or is
Yes.
this something?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a stated limit to the size of files that you upload. They have to be 2 megs or smaller. But we have reports, and I haven't done careful testing of this, that if you upload something larger than that, it crunches it, if it's a picture, down to 2 megs. Which, depending on the purpose of the photograph, may do everything you need. I'm not sure what it would do with a PDF that was larger than 2 megs. I suspect that it would just reject it.
If you have a lot of pictures, I would suggest using something like Flickr or Picasa web albums to upload them, just because then you can upload the full size of it and pick a smaller picture to link in, so that you have something displayed more appropriately, and they can go back and see the larger picture if they want to.
Yeah, it's the same principle basically as using YouTube for videos. It's using a tool designed for photographs and collections of photographs that gives you more options in the long term. Just to do with those, it gives you the flexibility of displaying them in different ways, and it doesn't burden our bandwidth or storage space. But for relatively small things that are just decorative in particular, as opposed to actual photographs, we have the option.
Or, if you've got a banner that you want to change, you upload it. Because that's what they're for.
So is there a limit to how much space we can use on this?
It's 2 gigs.
I think so, yeah. Which, if you've got, appropriately formatted web content, that should be more than plenty.
I want to say, I was voting for random passive aggressive revenge, but.
Big things will be flashing. Abuser, abuser, abuser.
The site has been closed because it was excessive.
There's some students that want to close my class because it's obsessive, so maybe the blog would be the solution.
Well, thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much.
If you have questions, let us know.